Is this thing on?
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Okay.
Just coming right in hot today.
That's right.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I just realized my microphone was turned the wrong way.
There you go.
Oh man, you think I'm a newbie?
I don't know what where to put my microphone anyway. I was not impressed with my voice on the last podcast.
Were you not?
No, so I'm gonna move this mic right in front of my face.
But we were all impressed, which is the important part.
Well, some weren't.
So today
Oh,
I've got a
boy.
nice tall cup of hot
Water.
water
It's like water.
that I
Really?
just spilled on my MacBook. Hold on,
I saw that. Why?
Oh, that's not
why
the
you
view you
drinking-
needed.
Why are you drinking hot water?
Let's see, well, if the computer goes out, you know why.
That would be great. That would be the final cap on the podcast. He just couldn't take it no more. He dumped hot water all over his laptop, depressed at the poor views from the last podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Doug and I we're so fickle. We get less views, and we're both thinking, maybe we should do, maybe we're boring, trying to reevaluate everything. It's like, come on.
Well, to be fair, it's like half
That's true.
the views.
That's
So,
true. Maybe people are they're busy.
Hey, I'm not gonna make nobody listen to me. If you don't want to listen to me, then I'll stop talking.
This is what I mean. So temperamental.
Other
So
things to do.
yeah.
What's going on in your world?
Oh boy, neither of us with coffee today. Doug's just took a swig of Verner's or something like that. Oh no, it'd be Canada Dry. Right?
Bite your tongue, Canada Dry.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Basically,
no,
I've been just doing. Well, okay. So I'm going to talk about it. I haven't asked if I'm allowed to talk about it, and I can imagine that they're going to be upset with me. I tried to call the lady today. She was busy, but she doesn't know this exists. She doesn't listen to it, and no one that's involved with them is going to listen to it. So some insider information that doesn't really matter. But I was contacted by some recruiting folks from Food Network for a show, and they wanted to know if I would be interested in doing pumpkin carving. And so I said, oh, and they said, well, we have hired carvers before to do this, and they've never carved pumpkins, but we gave them pumpkins to carve, and they won the whole pumpkin carving competition. So, if you can carve, 5 pumpkins for us in the next 2 or 3 days, we would send those into the producers along with an interview that we do of you. So, dress nice, show up on Monday, be prepared to talk about yourself and explain why you're the best candidate for the show. And so we did the interview yesterday, and very nervous. I was very nervous, and which is funny because I wasn't even sure that I was going to do the show to begin with, and so I'm nervous for something that I'm not entirely even convinced I'm going to do. And yeah, so today and yesterday I've been carving pumpkins, which there's nothing more annoying than carving a pumpkin and watching it wither. After hours of work, you're happy with the finished piece.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I did one of Einstein, and the ephemeral part of it is, on one hand, when it's done, this is going to go away, so it's kind of neat. It's like, well, this is it feels kind of like fleeting, but the annoying part is, when it does wilt, you just are so upset. I don't know if pumpkin carvers relate to that, but oh boy, I'm so angry. I mean, I carved two nice carvings that if they were done in wood or stone, I'd be able to charge, between $500 and $1,000 for a piece, and all that's just going to rot within the next couple of days. So,
it is a strange thing. It's fun. It's a fun idea, and it's a kind of TV's cool, right?
Right.
But I've been back and forth on this too, not for carving, mind you, at all, but the survival type stuff.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of buddies who were on the show. I got a couple of buddies who won a show,
Oh,
and a
wow.
couple other buddies that just basically made appearances and
Mhm.
left. But I don't see a lot of that it helps a lot unless you win. Like you really have to win.
Yep.
But even then, even if you win, it's a flash in the pan.
Right. Well, you
Yeah.
know, my mom was going on about how this is the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm like, and she's, you know, well, I'm also putting words in her mouth. She didn't say that, but she was insinuating like, why aren't you saying yes to this, you dummy? And my dad was doing the same thing, and my brother has done the same thing. But the reality is, it doesn't really pay unless you win.
Right.
So, you know, not to disparage Food Network, but I think they should probably pay you for doing this show.
I know Discovery does.
Right. So,
Like a living wage at
hey,
least.
but also maybe I'm speaking out of my butt because they haven't said yes or no to begin with, and maybe I'll find out. So I'll you know, to be determined, right? So
Oh yeah, no, it's good to
TBD, we'll see. But
talk
anyway,
about anyway.
yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about it anyway, I'm sure. So
I'm surprised that you found pumpkins this time of year.
yeah, well, I couldn't find them. I went to 5 different grocery stores and no one had them. Walmart, Kroger, Meijer, the like, and Aldi, whatever. And no one did. But my my local cider mill that's not more than 5 minutes south up the road. Sure enough, I called them and they said, well, we have some frozen ones if you want to, you know, we can discount them for you. And I said, so I texted a friend who's been on one of those shows, pumpkin carving shows, and he said, you know what? That's, you know, it's probably not good, but you might as well try it. So I was like, uh-oh. So I went down and
Oh, is that what you're carving frozen? That's why they're going so quickly.
oh, you're
Because
right. You're totally right.
that's the beginning of the end for a pumpkin after it freezes.
You're right. That's exactly right. Because you're right. Yeah, because they're already starting to degrade. You know, the cell structure is pierced by the ice, and then when it
Yep.
thaws, it
Yep.
collapses. So
Yeah. Ah.
yep,
But
you're
yeah,
right.
anyway, it's past it's almost December. You're lucky to find any pumpkins.
Well, yeah, and so I'm just carving them for these pictures to send to the producers. So that's yeah, that's
I know
that. But
Halloween, we had a hard time already. They were
really,
almost out of pumpkins all over at Halloween. Yeah.
wow,
So otherwise, just get the little cooking pumpkins and.
right, yeah. So
Hmm.
it is interesting though how the entertainment frontier is kind of shifting to the internet now. And personally, I watch more YouTube than I do. I mean, if they were compared on a graph, it would be comical. Like the amount of, you know, television that I've watched over the years has gone to zero, and then the amount of
Yeah.
YouTube I've watched has just steadily increased.
Yeah.
So
On another note, though, it's kind of fun to see how the mainstream movie actors
mhm,
are really like doing like Amazon and Netflix and the
right,
streaming services. Like they're
right.
really everything is changing.
No, you're
It's
right. Before it was like kind of not an advantageous thing for an A-list actor to be on like a streaming service, right? That was
yeah.
relegated to the B-list and C-list actors, but now it's, yeah, like you say.
Did I just say movie actors? I think I said
Yeah,
movie actors.
yeah, you
as,
did. Well, I
as
just
opposed,
figured it was because you were old, and that's, you know.
yeah, on the big screen. Oh,
TV movie actor
well,
people.
let's unpack tools that you use for carving pumpkins because
Mm.
this is fascinating to me because we can camp out here for a little while because we don't have much to talk about today anyway. And it's been, I don't know if it's a year and a half or 2 years ago. I carved a sweet potato and
That's
put it in a jar of vinegar
wow,
that
that's
I
held up
just
really
use.
well.
It's almost like it's identical to how I put it in there.
Can you get closer to
But
that?
uh,
Wow, that's unreal. I can't believe how well
yeah.
that held up.
But I just use my carving tools
Yep.
because, but I also went and looking for pumpkin tools and stuff at the time. Of course, again, always a good idea the day before.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But anyway, all the pumpkin carving tools were out. But to me, they look like very similar to clay working tools. Is that fair?
Yeah. And in talking to um these guys, these pumpkin carvers, they take Kemper tools and they sharpen teeth into them. So Kemper tools are clay tools. They look like little ribbons or bands
Yep.
of steel at the end of wooden handles, and they are sharpened. So you can take the smallest cutoff wheel from or grinding wheel from on a Dremel and use that to cut the little teethy teeths. And that's what I'm doing.
So you're not using any real knives or anything. It's just all those tools, or are you mixing it up?
Well, to finish, it's hard, you know, it's hard for me to learn new things. So I'm still returning to the V tool and the knife for the sharper things.
Yeah.
I'm using the V tool a lot actually, because I'm not going to sit there with a Kemper tool and try and make sharp cuts. It's just, they're rounded. So even the
Yeah.
V'd ones are like soft beads. So to get the sharp stuff, I need to get my real deep, 60-degree V in there, and my knife for the sharper things. But I had this idea to carve a flower. If you take the stem of a pumpkin off, you bust it off and
Yep.
make that the center of the flower, and then the top part, there's the petals come off of that center, that
Yeah, of course.
stamen,
Yeah.
or stamen, whatever you call it. That's what I've been doing today, is finishing up that. Well, really just photographing that. And so trying to get creative with it. But yeah, these are the shorter, squattier pumpkins, so there's more surface area on the top than the sides. So something fun you can do around that time of year.
Well, I probably didn't know you last year at this time, but this year it seems to me you've done a lot of pumpkins. You did a commercial with pumpkins,
Yeah.
with the light inside the pumpkin.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. Well, it was fun. As I'm carving it, I talked to a friend about it, and he was like, I'm like just starting into it. He's like, well, you're not doing the thing where the light goes on the inside and then it creates the shadow from the part that you didn't carve, are you? And I said, yeah. He said, oh, that's really, really, really hard. And I said, okay, good. That's good to know. Yeah. Like you have to get the depth perfect, or else it'll look blown out in one spot and then dark in another spot. So I'm thinking, oh, great. But it didn't end up being as bad as you said. I mean, if you kind of get your hand, hollow it out and get your hand behind there, you can sort of see where you're at in terms of thickness. And but yeah, so I just did a little logo for them, and then some tree branches and some bats and such. But it was yeah, it's something else.
How quick were you to wipe down your tools?
I found one of my V tools. I was disappointed in myself today. I found a V tool that was totally covered and got my floor, my seat, everything is covered in pumpkin guts right now. And I don't know what pumpkin carvers do. They probably just have to clean up right afterwards, but it's gross. It's sticky. Everywhere's sticky.
But your V tool?
My V tool is not rusted yet. I don't know how, but
I remember that's one thing I did do. I was amazed how fast it started to rust.
Well, I think the only reason mine doesn't, because last time I tried carving a pumpkin with carving tools, it rusted right away. It was so dry in here that these shreds immediately turn into brittle, crisp. No humidity.
Well, that's very interesting. You been up to anything else, or you just
well, that, and I was working, as I said, I've been my head's been in the sauna again, just because it's gotten so dang cold. I don't know if this is, I'm sure it's the same for you. We're not that far apart, but winter came all of a sudden, like, it was 60, and then the next day it was 30, and didn't have any time to prepare for that mentally. So
yeah, it's coming.
Yep.
It's coming.
Yeah.
But you're enjoying every day, and all of a sudden, here it is. Bam.
Right.
So yeah, it's I'm defrosting my car every morning before I go to work.
Yep.
Yeah, it's we're into it.
Yep.
What I was going to ask you was with your sauna, did you decide if you're going to go
sauna, by the way, sauna. That's
the sauna.
Yeah. Sauna. I've been saying it the wrong way too.
Who says sauna?
Sauna. It's like SOU. You know who says it is people who know how to say it. Because they're Finnish.
Those Scandinavians.
Yeah. And it's my neighbor corrects me all the time, and so my neighbor drives by when I'm outside in the front yard doing some lawn work a few days ago, and he says, "How's the sauna going?" And I'm like, "Good." And then another neighbor drives by who we don't ever talk to. His name is Mark, and he goes, "Hey, what you guys doing over there?" Points to the sauna, and I say, "I'm just building a sauna." He says, "Sauna." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Paul looks at him. Yes, he's so excited. He's validated. And Mark was like, "Well, I'm finished." And my neighbor Paul was like, "Well, me too." And they did a little party, next to one in their trucks, talking about being finished and stuff. Yeah. So
Did you? The question was the heating element.
mm,
You know what you're doing with that? You're doing like just like the heat or the heat rocks, electric, wood. What are you
well,
getting?
when I was in Sweden in 2019, I saw a sauna tub that was heated with wood, and I thought I'm gonna make one like that. But then when I got home, I started to look into it, and I thought, no, the move is gas because it's cheaper, it's easier, it's a real
Oh,
flame.
gas. Yep.
And so, and it's cost effective. And then I'm like looking at gas stoves, and they're not just like twice the cost, they're 4 and 6 times the cost of electric heaters. And so I mean, literally half the cost of the sauna would be the heater. So I started looking at electric, and electric is affordable. And of course, there's a pretty heavy draw, and it's probably expensive to heat. But I picked up a 220 sauna heater that's made by a Finnish company, and for used from somebody in Ann Arbor on Amazon or
Nice.
sorry, Marketplace. And
Nice.
yeah, the lady that I visited had a sauna next to her chicken coop in the back.
Sauna.
Sorry. Right. No, the neighbor Mark said that if you look it up, Webster's dictionary, it shows you how to pronounce it, and it's Souna is how they say, in parentheses.
Yeah, well,
How,
we wreck everything anyway, so
yeah. Well, especially Canadians, right?
of course.
No, it's cool.
So with the electric, then you're not dumping water on rocks. It's just the heat.
You can, yeah, no, you can. You have to. It's made for that, apparently. Yeah, you have to. The rocks go above in a little compartment. You can dump water over the
Okay. Yeah.
compartment, but you can't go as crazy.
Yeah. Well, I looked into it too, and ideal, like to me, the ideal is wood as well.
Yep.
But the problem with the wood is now it's just become an event that you have to plan ahead and prep for. And I just don't think with the wood that you would use it as often as you would electric by flicking a switch
Right.
and coming back in 20 minutes or whatever.
Yep.
The wood would just be like such a hassle to build up to temperature. So,
Well, I'd never be able to convince my friends or girlfriend or anyone to come in there because it'd be like, it'd be the middle of winter, and part of that would be you want to come help me chop wood and get some kindling going, and
yeah.
they're like, maybe you can do it. So then the half hour preceding every sauna visit is that. So
Yeah.
but
Alec is holding up a pumpkin tool that you can easily see that he has taken some tool and just, if he was trying to sharpen it, I would be disgusted with him. But since he's making teeth, it looks okay, I guess.
it's pretty bad, isn't it? You're right.
It's pretty rough.
It really is. I really didn't get too cautious about that. You can tell it was like pumpkin carving tools.
Yeah, so you were getting the more material together.
Well, yeah, just trying to figure out exactly how much insulate. That's what I'm doing when we get off. Is I'm going in there with tape and measuring out one of the lengths of the door, the walls, and doing some math, and then hitting up Home Depot with Ben, my housemate, picking up some T111 siding for the tops because the peak of the roof has not been boxed in yet. Ben and I got the ceiling of the shed in so it can receive the insulation, and that's how the pinky smash happened. But yeah, so just getting materials together, and yeah. But how about you? What's going on in your world?
Well, I just one more question.
Yeah,
because I'm curious. Are you using a tin foil or a bubble wrap behind the interior, or are you just going right on the vapor barrier?
no, the I went with just the film that's like a paper-backed foil aluminum. That's
Oh, there is aluminum foil on.
yeah, I just bought it today on Amazon, so you can get rolls of it. I think it's 255 square feet, which will do a 6x8 sauna for I think it's like $50 or something. So
Oh, okay, good.
hopefully it's decent.
Good.
But
well, over here it's been hectic again. Still eating away at my holidays that they're making me use.
Right.
And yeah, just carving and making videos, using my holidays up, making videos for the YouTube.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, we had some excitement on the weekend. Our hydro went out for 3 or 4 hours.
Hydro.
Our electricity, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, we always refer to electricity as hydro. Hydro
really?
poles. Yeah, I made a video one time carving a hydro pole. And everyone's like, "What's a hydro pole?" Sorry, utility pole. But yeah, we always our hydro company or our electricity company is Ontario Hydro.
We call them the electric company.
Yeah, well, we have Ontario Hydro, so that's hydro. I always say hydro. Anyway, our electricity went out, and I love it. I love it so much.
Really?
We get all we get all the candles and lanterns out, and we have the wood stove just cranked up, so it's nice and warm, and have a great time. Everyone sat around reading by candlelight and reckon, so that's always fun. But as far as the video, last week I put out a video carving a very simple Santa just with a knife, a real beginner friendly tutorial for a little Santa design that you can hang in your tree, or I put a magnet on the back of mine.
That's
just
cute.
To stick it on my
yeah, I like him a lot.
But very simple, very beginner friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And then today I'm working on another video, which probably I would imagine if this comes out on Friday that the video should come out the same day, so I can talk about it now. And it's an elf, making a Christmas elf out of cottonwood bark. Another silent carving video.
Yeah.
So I'm prepared for the comments of no talking. Why don't you talk? But
says no one about me ever. Actually, I got a comment saying the opposite recently. Lady said, "You talk too much," and I went into her page to see what she was all about, what her videos are. She doesn't make any videos, but I saw somehow, I didn't realize, I accidentally found out how she comments on other people's videos. I'm not savvy enough using YouTube to do it on my own, but I stumbled upon it, and sure enough, all she does is say, which she did with me too, is say a nice thing, like, good video. I wish you would have done this. The second part is you stink at this. And every single comment was nice video. You really need to make the video shorter. And then the second comment was, you did a good job, but maybe fix your camera shake. You did a good job, but and mine was you talk too much. So
just before we came on, I read a comment on my last video. It said, and I've been mulling it over my head. I'm going, what are they talking about? They said, you got me into carving and you're responsible for me cutting 2 of my fingers off.
What?
That's what it says. Yeah. You got me into carving and it's your fault I cut off 2 of my or something along those lines.
Dude, that's too much.
Like, what is wrong with you? They're lying to start with. I mean, if you cut 2 fingers off, you're not carving with a knife.
No.
It's just, this is the internet, and I'm getting so crusty now. I sent you a whole bunch of comments this week about all the things that I look like, or all the insults and stuff. I'm like, I don't know why we do this.
I know,
but there's always the good ones out there. So keep plugging away.
Yeah, that's true. I had a fun one. Somebody messaged me today, and I thought this was going to be me getting in trouble. Said, "Hey, my friend has been trying to get a hold of you about a commission, and please reach out to her. She needs it by Christmas. And I'm thinking, oh no, I've been ignoring somebody. I didn't know that. So I immediately called her and she said, hey, I've been, waiting with bated breath for this carving, and I'm hoping to get it by Christmas. So I'm like, oh, good. Whew, okay, good. And so she said, I'm a huge fan. I have like 5 of your carvings in my hallway and all this nice stuff. And it just, yeah, it made me so happy. And she said, when we get off, I'm gonna send a picture of the carvings I have on my wall. And then she sent me a picture and she said, they make me so happy. And,
See,
I was
yeah,
just,
that's nice.
that was so fun. But the problem is, I don't know that maybe you get this, but I have like this imposter syndrome where I'm like, she can't really think that. Those aren't that good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
why is she saying that?
You're talking to the guy who doesn't want to sell his carvings
Yeah.
because somebody can pick them apart in my mind.
Yeah.
That yeah, like but you know what? It's all on us. It's our brains.
Yeah.
It's not them because you know what? People like the stuff. So but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. And one more thing I'll just keep on talking here about the comments was we had a comment, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but ads on their last video. Someone said that we had 2 ads every 3 minutes, and that was too much. And I'm thinking, there's no way in the world. Like, why are you even talking? 2 ads every 3 minutes. So whoever you are, you said you probably wouldn't be watching anymore, so we're talking about you. But yeah, that's a lie. That's just a lie. But to be fair, or on our end, it's YouTube. We just click a button. But I watched it on YouTube, and I did not have 2 ads every 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
I don't know what he was on, but anyway, we should be positive now. Just switch it up and get positive. I get so crusty with the
oh man,
YouTuber comments, but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But
otherwise, yeah, I was just carving that elf and had a really good time, and I'm very very pleased with it. So
it looks
I like
great.
it. I like it when I'm when something works out. So
you can't show it off.
I can, but you keep talking for a minute then.
Oh, it's mounted. Yeah, get it. So at this point, Doug is walking up to the fixture board, unclamping his wood carving, and walking towards the camera. And he'll be back with us shortly. He's taking a long time to put his headphones on. He's very slow.
I saw you sitting there. Your lips weren't moving at all. You're just making everybody wait.
Sure.
So
we'll go with that.
My elf man.
And, that looks so good.
Yeah, I was in between if I should put the glasses or not.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so glad we got to put the glasses.
That totally made it. It made him look so like an old wise man.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm I guess I can say that. I'm pleased with that. That's not against a lot to say. Finally a decent carving.
Yeah.
But no, I have Sophie's a whiz at the glasses.
Yeah.
I don't even try. I just say hey, you want to make some glasses? Yep. And she just goes zip zip zip.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Hey, that's great. I wish I had a glasses maker.
Yeah. Buy your future bride a craft room and fill it full of stuff to make glasses, and
there you go. There you go.
So many glasses.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it for me.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things I thought would be fun to talk about today was alternative mediums for carving as a topic. Maybe we veer off of this, who knows, but I haven't even run it by you yet. So, if this is totally boring, so be it. But I think it's kind of interesting that, and I explained it to the Food Network lady, that if you carve in one medium, you have the concepts down, it transfers over to many other carving medium, subtractive carving mediums.
Well, yeah, that's a great intro because we just talked about pumpkins and sweet potatoes. Have you ever seen the chef like the carrot carvers and the radish carvers and all
Oh
the
yeah.
flour makers and the
Oh
fruit
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
amazing. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
No, that stuff is cool.
And they do it with such speed because they just got to pump them out, right? But that's cool. But uh, one thing that I dabbled with once was soapstone.
Did you really?
Yeah, I just made like a little Easter Island head. I think I
No
did this
way.
live on a live stream.
That's
I
really
made
cool.
him and it was fun.
Was
It
it?
was really fun. And I use old knife and
Did you?
files, and that was I didn't have any special tools at all. And yeah, I really liked it. I'm amazed how it polishes up too. I had never touched it before until right on that live stream. I kind of learned as I went, and it was fun.
Where did you get it? The soapstone from?
Bought a brick of it at Lee Valley just on a whim, and I probably had it on the shelf for a couple years
Yeah.
before that, and then just decided to give her a crack. It's fairly soft too.
Who did you give crack?
Give it a crack.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Give it a try.
I see.
Give it a try. Yes.
Okay, I see.
Have you carved stone before? I think you have. Yes.
I've carved alabaster. I have soapstone at home at my parents, my old shop. But no, I've not carved it. But yeah, the alabaster from in Michigan is, well, it's very prevalent up north. So I went up there.
Define alabaster for me. I'm not
It's
sure.
gypsum. It's
Oh,
it's just gypsum stone. And in Michigan, at least, well, so there's the gypsum stone alabaster, and then there's the quartz. I think it's calcite alabaster, which is the better stuff for carving. I think it's a little harder, but nonetheless, in Michigan, we have these quarries for gypsum. Gypsum. I mean, we're probably the number one supplier of gypsum to the world. And so because we're on a big glacial till pile, right? So the giant icebergs whose noses, scrape the layers of soil and rock and pulverized to turn it into a powder, stopped right in Michigan. And so we have all this, fine, sand and this gypsum alabaster. And so, under the instruction of an artist that I met at an art show, he said to go up to Alabaster, Michigan, off of 23, and then look for an old effed up mill and then a broken fence, and then on your left hand side you're going to see, and I just had like a brown piece of scrap paper it was written on, and my brother and I went up there with no other direction, and just laughed our way up there because it was, looking at this paper, which, I transcribed exactly what he said, and it was full of curse words, and it was really not very descriptive. So we said, well, we stopped for breakfast on the way up. We were, about 4 hours north, and he said, well, probably, what do you think? What the odds that we get alabaster? He's like, well, probably 30%. So we ended up not being able to find the mill or the fence. And so we turned around, headed back home. And on the way back home, I saw this giant hill, and it was gleaming white sort of mound. It looked like sand, but I was like, hold on, Kenny, let's pull over and look at this. So pull over. We start to walk out toward this hill. I look at the ground at my feet as I'm walking, and this clear blue translucent stone with grass growing out of it makes up the floor that we're walking on. And we both start just absolutely cracking up because, I mean, we've not even Googled alabaster. We don't know what alabaster looks like. We've never seen alabaster. So we're just like, if this isn't alabaster, I don't know what is. Yeah. And so, of course, we ended up harvesting these beautiful stones, the blue, white, pink, purple stones, and just loaded them up from this abandoned gypsum quarry and in the back of my Honda Element. And we just laughed our butts home, and just absolutely could not believe that we found alabaster. And so, sure enough, I I carve it as soon as I get home, and it's soft, and you can use burrs and Dremel attachments and knives and scrapers and things like you say with the soapstone, because it's pretty soft. It's not quite as soft as soapstone, but it's pretty soft. And I made a nice little face, and man, that was fun. And so I thought, oh, I'm a stone carver now.
That's right.
So I did I did an art show where I probably had just as many stone carvings as wood carvings, and then every year for about 4 years I did at least a few stone carvings. And but what I found was I couldn't really get a lot more value out of a stone carving than a wood carving. And I guess in my mind I thought, people will see the stone and they'll go, that's impressive, that's worth twice as much. But
Look
not
at this
always.
great carving these faces, eh?
Right. Well, it's probably my hair. Yeah, it's probably closer to my ancestry. But
do you seal them?
I have it up in the box right in the out of view in the camera. But yeah, it's the out of view of the camera. But it's this it's a tile finish that was recommended to me. That's used to seal coat floors and marble and
Okay.
stone floors, not tile. And
Yeah.
so it's made in Germany. But yeah, you can do that. Or I found that the mineral oil is just as nice of a finish.
Well, how soft is it? Like if you hit it, would you
So
would you put a dig in it, or?
granite, I believe, is a more hardness of 8 or 9. Marble, I believe, is 7. Soapstone, I think, is 1 or 2, and then alabaster, if I'm not mistaken, is like 3 or 4. So it's right in between like soapstone and granite or marble.
Okay, so it's strong enough.
It's decently strong, and it
Yeah.
varies from piece to piece. The Western stuff that I've carved, the really good stuff that you pay extra, you pay good money for, is awesome to carve. It's super soft and even. The stuff from these quarries is harder and less consistent. But
Any issues with chipping?
oh, it's a nightmare. Yeah, like,
It
well,
does it because you
get,
take it's still obviously there's no grain, but there's pieces in it, right?
yeah.
Is it compressed pieces or?
Well, it depends on the piece, of course, right? Because it's found, and some pieces are really they're solid. They're one piece, but then others they're almost laminated, and so you have to
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
some you can kind of soak them with glue in certain areas before you get in there with a burr. That's what I was doing, is using a lot of super glue to seal brittle parts. But yeah, the worst thing is when you're carving a piece of alabaster, and then you've got a half a day into it, it just splits in half, and then you go in and take a nap,
Yeah.
let's call it a day. I did that a few times.
I did today. You mentioned super glue.
Mhm.
I grabbed a knife. I just grabbed the knife the wrong way, and I cut my finger.
Ouch.
And I just put my thumb on it right away. And you know how we both bought the accelerator for the super
Mhm.
glue?
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I put super glue right across the cut
Oh
and
my
sprayed
gosh.
it immediately.
You did not.
And I did so. And it's
Oh
perfect.
no.
It's perfect.
That's hilarious.
I
Dr.
don't
Doug.
even I don't
We
even
don't
think I got.
recommend that. You don't want this stuff getting in your bloodstream.
Well, regardless, it's gonna be healed up, and I don't think I got 2 drops of blood in a fairly deep cut.
Hey,
So
that's
it
pretty
worked.
neat.
Yeah, especially when you're filming. You don't
Right.
want all of a sudden he has a Band-Aid. Where'd you
Yeah,
get the
right.
Band-Aid? Yeah. So
Well, that's true.
what other types of materials are out there
For carving. Yeah.
for carving?
Well, there's the option, which is, can be carved, but can be added to, is there's clay. And I don't know if you've played with clay. I've always
No.
kind of had an aversion to it, just because wood is so much more interesting to me. But clay is a great medium for instruction and for really for helping you to flesh out the shapes before you get into the wood, the more permanent wood. So I kind of treat it like like any wood. I kind of carve it away. I start with a block, and I kind of use the cutting tools, the Kemper tools, for cutting away big chunks. And so there's clay. And so I encourage, people who are interested in carving to play with clay, because it gives you a way of, going back and saving money, on wood, because you can just put it back on if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I always wanted to try it, but not enough. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
just I didn't want to do it enough. But I watched. Well, you put me onto that one artist who makes amazing statues and stuff, and you said you carve away, but the beauty of clay is you can add.
Right.
You know, you can add the chin or add the ears.
Yeah.
You don't have to carve them. You just build them up on the clay themselves.
Mhm.
But I wish I could remember the guy's name that you put me on because he
Was it
makes
Patrick?
amazing.
Not Patrick
Uh,
Burke?
no, he was an older fella, but a cool old guy. Uh, makes big things, and they usually bronze everything.
Oh, you're not talking
He's
about Brian Booth.
I don't know.
Does he do the full figure, human figures?
No, no, he does like real cool. Like he'll do horses and everything,
Oh,
like big ones.
yeah. I wonder what
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think the guy's in his 60s, but he's got full sleeve tattoos. Real good guy. He does a lot of did a lot of live things on Instagram and stuff.
Huh.
I
Oh,
can't.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's cool. Winterburn, Steven Winterburn.
Yep, that's him. That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I love watching him. He's got it down to a science, like Instagram. Like I followed him when he first started his Instagram, and I
Yeah,
couldn't believe he had, like 10 followers. But I thought maybe there's something wrong with the algorithm. But then, a few weeks later, he's like, 20 or 30,000.
yeah,
So he's a legendary sculptor guy who just got privy to Instagram is what happened. But he does
yeah,
these videos, these stories where he's just drinking coffee in the studio, and that's
yeah,
fun.
yeah. He's a real likable guy. So
Yeah, he is. So no, he's fun to watch. He does oil-based plasticine clay, which is non-hardening, and that's what I use as well. It's expensive to see the amount of clay that he goes through. It's like,
yes,
oh my gosh, it's got to be tens of thousands of dollars of clay.
yeah.
But then he casts in bronze, and he even did a. Did you see that falcon he did? He casted that in silver.
And silver.
Yes,
Wow.
sterling silver. It looked incredible.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, that's a
definitely
dream.
yeah, he's definitely out of my league.
Oh yeah, and mine too.
He's
So
amazing. But
the other
okay,
mediums,
so
you carved in a golf
clay.
ball.
Yeah, I have one right here.
That's something I've never done.
I have a golf ball carving.
That's awesome.
It's so silly.
That's cute.
And yeah, it's actually kind of fun.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a I just did it for a video. I did it, I don't know, I got a few around here. But yeah, it was fun. The funnest part, as in anything, is the opening of the ball to see what color you get.
Hmm.
Because there's a whole rainbow of colors inside these balls, like from blue, purple, gray, white. This one's orange,
Huh.
you know. And but when I was a kid, golf balls were made up like just elastic bands, like
That's
band
what I've
over like
heard.
yeah. And I had no idea about this till a couple years ago, and I saw someone doing it, so I had to give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah, golf balls are fun. What
Have you
else
never
is
tried
there?
it?
Uh, boy, this guy, everyone's just screaming in there at their
N-
speaker, going,
Yeah.
"Hey, what about
Watermelon. People carve squashes, they carve all sorts of plants, vegetables. There's a lot of veggie carvers out there. Of course, bark, which really isn't wood. And that's what we're doing. We're carving in the cottonwood bark
yeah,
primarily.
yeah, totally unrelated, but you ever see him make a cork before?
Sorry, making cork?
Have you ever seen corks being made before?
No.
It, I may be totally wrong, but it looks like they're taking sheets of the bark cork and they're just plugging it. That's what corks are.
Really?
So yeah, so we carve bark, but that looks to me like the bark is cork,
Hmm.
and they're just feeding it through these machines, punching out the corks.
And there's
And
just a cutter head that's taped. That's kind of like,
yep.
hmm,
But the point is that's bark as
right,
well.
right.
Cork is bark.
The tree bark.
So yeah. So pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it is neat.
I can't think of an
I see.
as soon as we're done here, we're gonna
I
rhyme
know.
off a bunch more, but I can't think of it. Oh, soap, of course.
Oh, right. That's what
Right.
got it all going for
That's
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The soap carving.
Yeah. Have you ever
I've
done anything
seen.
in soap?
No, just to get the kids going, really.
Right.
But I never personally. I never. Yeah. What do you do with it?
Well, that's
Wash
the thing
yourself?
about ephemeral mediums like pumpkins and soap. You know, I mean, I guess soap is better than a pumpkin in that you don't have to use it and it'll stay around for a while before it dries out, but
Yeah.
it feels like a
It's
waste of time.
yeah. And who wants to hang on to it? My wife makes soap, and she wraps it, like shrink wraps the soap and puts a label on it, and you can go back to whoever she gave it to 2 years later, and they're scared to use it. You know, it's like just use it,
Right.
use it. So
Well, that's my special
I
soap I'm saving for a special occasion.
I'm saving it. I'm saving it. But yeah, I should carve some of that stuff. But
That'd be fun for a video,
yeah,
a beginner project in soap.
yeah. Oh, I got one.
Yeah.
I made apple heads one year.
Really?
You ever do apple heads? Shrunken apple heads?
Never once. Oh yeah. I've heard
And
about this.
yeah, I don't have them. They're all with the Sophie packs them away with the Halloween stuff. But yeah, you carve a face in an apple,
Mm.
and then just put it. You can put them in the oven. You can just hang them to dry naturally, and they just shrink up and everything. Like I've got these old grannies. Their faces are like prunes, and you can put little beads in the eyes, and they'll kind of shrink over top of the beads. And I put like cotton ball hair and stuff, and they look really cool. Real fun project. Look up
Apple heads.
shrunken apple heads. Yeah.
Well, that's all I can think of as far as carving mediums. I think I've heard of people. Am I mistaken in that there are other types of like ball, like is it baseballs, or people have I think maybe there was a rubber core baseball or something that people are carving in, or maybe I'm mistaken, but
Well, I wouldn't know anything about it.
I feel like they're all these wood carving communities have found all kinds of weird things to carve on that aren't wood. But to me, the whole point is wood, and I mean, there's nothing cooler than carving wood to me.
Now, it's still wood, but I have collected over the years. I have a box of the old thread spools that I have intention of carving the wood spools. The old thread spools, a sewing machine.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's a Dale. I think his name Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
And he does them a lot, and they look fantastic. Carver Dale. And yeah, I always want to do it. So every time I was at an auction or a secondhand store, every time I saw a little baggie of wooden spools, I'd buy them. I probably have 50 of them. I haven't carved one yet, but someday.
There you go. All right. It's that time of the day.
It is that time of day. As he's reaching over, he's got it. He's got it in his hands.
That E strings out.
Well, we added to it. Mailbag.
I think somehow it's progressively getting more and more out of sync. All right, so we've got a comment from.
Well, you're also playing the song, a different song every week. To be fair,
am I?
You do. Yeah, you started with a real short little one, and now you just added a little bit. That's like the end of
it just
the
keeps
podcast.
Keeps getting longer.
Yeah. So I'm ready.
Hey, Darius and Alva, long-time listener, first-time caller. Well, messaging. Just wanted to pop on real quick and ask a question. Where do you find inspiration for the creativity you have in your carvings, and how do you keep your love of carving fresh and new on each piece? Keep up the fun banter, and you two remind me of the little guys in the balcony from the Muppet Show.
They're my favorite. Those Muppet guys are my favorite guys.
Yes, Alec, Doug may have to explain to you what they are, and I can't believe you couldn't remember Oscar the Grouch.
Right?
Oh, that's from the last episode.
That was I was listening to that after going, yeah, I still can't believe that either. Like, What do you mean garbage?
Well,
Sesame Street, Cookie Monster, he said.
well, he's not the only thing in that garbage. My brain is in there too, apparently. Just messing with you guys. Love the podcast and the individual work you two do. Keep inspiring and laughing. Sent through R2D2. All right, that's interesting. Thank you,
That's
Dave.
Dave Levy.
Dave. Thank you, Dave.
It's not Levy, it's Levy.
Oh, Levy.
Or maybe it is. Yeah. Anyway, it's just as much fun to make a mistake on his name anyway. So
yeah, but now we're even. D and A, that's new. Really been enjoying the show. Listened to the most current episodes.
Are you just gonna rattle them all off, or are you gonna answer the question that he asked in the first?
Oh, wait, did he ask a question?
Just how do you?
I forgot. I think because I've heard this question before, I wrote it off and I immediately moved on.
Yeah.
We could answer it again though.
Well, go ahead. You go ahead.
I'll try to come up with a new answer. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, for me, maintaining inspiration, it helps by doing things that I'm not comfortable with. I try to throw myself off a little bit, like get off balance. So that's pumpkin carving. For me, I'm really uncomfortable with it. It's the same general ballpark of activities, right? Subtractive carving sort of thing, making faces, not that different, but it's a new medium. So trying new projects, that helps.
Yep, I'm in the same boat. I like I'll carve basswood for a while, and then luckily now I found bark, and I jump over to bark, and the basswood becomes new again when I go back to basswood, and just keep mixing it up.
Yeah. So love of carving comes from doing a lot of other things, and for me too, I listen to the great Joni Mitchell. She talks about how painting is a huge respite for her, or respite for her, or whatever the right word is for that. But take a break from singing and do something else, and she does painting. So take a break from carving, do something else, something creative that feeds you. For me, that's playing the guitar, even though I'm talking out of my butt because I haven't played the guitar in a few weeks, except for these intros. But so I need to get back to it. Actually, I'm reminding myself the pinky didn't help. But thanks, Dave. Good question. Johnny and Leighton. No, Johnny Layton is his name. Leighton seems like a cool first name too, though. Really been enjoying the show. Listen to the most current episodes, and I'm already going through the backlog from the beginning on ones I haven't heard. Still new to carving, but having fun so far. Keep going on the show. Loving it. So not a question, but thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it. Kel J says, oh, wait, this one I could. Did you read this one, Doug?
I'm not familiar with any of them.
All right. Really. So it says must see for Doug the Pyro. You didn't read it.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't.
Okay.
No. Well, this save it. I'll go check it out. Yeah,
I'm going to save it because I'm not sure what's going on here. Sorry, Kel. I think it's just somebody suggesting something for you to check out, but it might also be spam. John Goodrich, I like your podcast on YouTube, but don't seem to be able to find it on Amazon or Pandora. I've got a few years on Don, and I love that he used it in the sentence, but not in the yeah. And more than a few on Alex. Where are the podcasts? Will YouTube allow a link? Yes. Well, that is a good question, John, and one that I don't know why. I don't know the answer to. I don't know why we're not on Pandora, but
where are we? Say where we are.
Well,
Spotify, Apple.
Yep.
Apple Podcasts.
Yep. And basically everything that's not Pandora, everything that's not
Amazon.
He mentioned, Amazon. So, but we're on all the platform. Well, at least 6 of the major platforms, right? So that's like you said, Spotify, Anchor, Google, Overcast, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, all those. So the list goes on. Or no, it actually
everything. Just try something else other than those 2.
Yeah, really. Anything else will probably have it. So, yep. So, back to it. You ever have just too many apps open, too many different
One
tabs
thing,
rather.
one thing that people forget about too is that I think I forget what the membership to YouTube is, but
Oh,
if you pay the I don't even know what they call it, the premium YouTube
it is. It's YouTube Premium.
YouTube Premium, well
I think
then you
so.
can actually play the podcast also
Yeah,
without
that's right.
without the app being on. And you can download them,
Right.
and you don't get any ads.
So Josh Lewis says, "Greetings from Nebraska. Is there any comment or statement you have heard that drives you nuts?" And I assume he's talking about wood carving here, because he goes on to say, example, the one comment that drives him absolutely nuts is a real carver doesn't use sandpaper, or a real carver doesn't use a glove. A real carver doesn't use anything but a Helvy knife. Are these people gatekeepers? Some poor kid is going to hear this and think they're not a real carver because all they have is a scrap piece of 2x4 and an old pocket knife. My blood pressure is rising. I need a coffee to calm my nerves. Anyway, is Doug going to get himself a vehicle that's cooler than Alex Comanche, like an El Camino or an AMC or a Bricklin? These are all I like that these are all vehicles from the 80s. So he's
Yeah,
teasing me for having an old vehicle here. He says keep caffeinated.
the AMC does not interest me at all.
The Bricklin's pretty cool though, you have to admit. Those are sweet.
What was the question? Oh,
Oh,
phrases that drive you nuts. The only one, and in fact, I think I just talked to you about this the other day about, or I talked to. Oh, that's what else I did on the weekend. I went and saw my buddy at Chipping Away.
did you?
Went and saw Cindy. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and anyway, we are talking about sharpening systems and stuff, and I was telling her, excuse me. Oh, I was telling her that I use their stropping system, and somebody, a carver was saying in front of a whole group of people, saying that if your knives and tools have not seen a stone, you haven't been carving. And I'm like, my knives have never seen a stone. I only strop everything.
I thought I was in trouble there for a minute.
Why did you say that?
No, because I don't have a stone in my shop.
Right. You don't know what you're doing. So that drives me crazy. Someone just makes a statement like that.
Right.
That you have to put your knives and tools to the stone. Keep
Right.
them sharp. Stay on top of maintenance. In fact, Saturday at 5 o'clock, I had just finished carving something. I had all my tools out, scattered all off the magnets on shelves, and I said, I'm going to stop and I'm going to do every single tool in this room. And I spent an hour just stropping every single tool, keeping them maintained, and keep them sharp, and you won't need to put them on a stone.
No, it's not a bad idea. Yep, just hitting the strap all the time. Probably more the better, as long as you're not rounding that bevel over.
If you want me to blabber on a little bit, since I forgot about the chipping away, I filled in 2 holes that I had in my tool game, and I got a number 9, like a little 1/4-inch 9 with a bit of a fishtail, and I got a medium-sized number 11. So now I have it all perfect. So I don't have to come. So what I was doing before is the bark carving station now is self-sufficient. I don't have to come over here and rob my little tools. So now these are purely my basswood tools, and the basswood or the bark are all full-size tools, and I should need nothing else. So
yeah, it's not a bad thought. I'm constantly trading carving tools back and forth from one bench to the other, so having a set for the separate bench is that's enviable. I should do something like that one day.
yeah, I'm really pleased. In fact, I went through, and again, we talked about last week, I touched up, I bought new tools, had to add more paint, so I cleaned up all the colors on the ends for my old eyes, and I can. Number 9 is still number 9 orange. Just grab the orange one. Just grab the orange one.
Yeah,
He's
just get
shaking his
just
head.
get a pair of glasses. Brian from well, he doesn't say where he's from. He says, hey guys, no clever names to mention. I do wait. Did someone else do this recently, or have I read this one already? Oh, yeah. All right.
We did this last week, didn't we?
Mm,
I thought I cleaned out the mailbox last week. This should be all
yeah,
new.
I think this is new. I've always liked watching Doug's carving videos as well as his camping videos. Through the podcast, it's inspired me to read Thoreau's book, Walden. It's rare for me to find a book I enjoy, so I thought I'd mention another one that you might find interesting called Stranger in the Woods: The Extraordinary Story of the Last True Hermit by Michael Finkel, based on a true
Oh,
story. I'm
that's
sure it would
interesting.
make for some interesting podcast material as well. I really enjoy listening to the show. Take care, Brian. And that was not a repeat.
That does sound interesting.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the topic is it's pertinent. It's one to check out. Tom says hello again from Winnipeg, and thanks for the honorable mention last show. Alec read my previous email, and yes, I did wonder if I was watching a previous show. Oh, this is when we went back and when I went back and read the wrong email, like I thought I was doing on the last one. Thanks for a great show. Keep it coming. I was wondering if Doug might have a solution to the problem I'm having with grain. When carving into a depression, say a foot bent at the ankle, the grain changes are difficult and I can't seem to carve the area cleanly. There always seem to be an area where the grain is lifted. I'm guessing I'm carving too much cottonwood. Thanks again for continuing to share your time. Be well, Tom.
I don't know if I fully understand that question,
Well,
but
I could answer it. I think I know what he's talking about.
I know what he's talking about. But I'm saying is if he's only using a knife, is different than if he's using like a gouge will fix that problem quickly.
Right,
But
it changes the angle. But to be fair, if he goes the opposite direction with a knife, that'll help too. Because what a lot of people are finding is difficult is when you start carving or you don't carve with a ton of frequency, is you run into issues figuring out, remembering where the grain is and how it moves. But the best thing to remember is that grain is like a bundle of straws. And when you carve downhill into a bundle of straws and you reach end grain, you actually separate the straws and you lose control of the wood. So if you go uphill towards the grain bundle stack, away from the end of the wood, you're less likely to bust it.
I understand. But if I'm flat plane carving, it's never really an issue. It is if you're carving up, but you just go, like you said, go the opposite side, go the opposite way. But he's saying getting in a corner,
right?
It should just be straight in. You can go across the grain and then with the grain and join it, meet up in the middle.
Right.
But on the same hand, you can take a gouge if you're trying to get that inside corner or a V tool and run it through that way. So
or a veiner.
Maybe we're misunderstanding the question.
Right.
But every time if you're just slicing and the grain is pulling, just go the other way and it's clean as a whistle. But otherwise, getting in those little tight corners, I always, like I said, if it's flat plane, I just cut both ways and meet in the middle or use a gouge crossways.
This is horrible again for the audio, but it just shows visually. So if you're struggling with this problem, if you're not, then don't worry about the YouTube video. But if you are, then check out the YouTube video for episode 14. But just kind of shows you this is what you want. You want to go uphill. These are the bundles of grains. You don't want to go downhill because then you're going to have issues. This is going to splinter off.
Speaking of grain again, I showed a easy, quick method on my last simple Santa video about splitting the wood in half.
Oh, that was cool. I love that part. Yeah.
You love that part? I love that part too. But one fellow said he disagreed with me, and he said that it made for terrible facial features, that they were just going to fall off and break off.
What?
Because the grain is this way, right? So he likes to put his grain the other way, like directly into the face. And I'm like,
that's a horrible idea. No.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying. So anyway, he also went on to tell me that he's not saying he's a better carver than me, but so, but anyway, I'll leave that alone. But I thought that was a nice, easy way for someone to make a triangle piece of wood. Just figure out which way the grain's going and go with it, split it across. So
Excellent idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't, the haters are wrong. It's I love the idea of bypassing the bandsaw and having to make a little jig and just taking an axe and I like that you said, whatever you have, that's big and sharp at the end that you can whack the top of it and knock it through the wood just to cut the square piece in half.
Do you know what I did do? And I can't show it on video because again, the barrage of comments I'll get, but I made more than one of these, and I rough cut most of this Santa Claus with my stock knife, and it was so much fun.
Did you really?
Yeah, just holding it up and just chopping it all of the shape. It was so much fun. But I thought if I put that on video, it's just gonna lose it and say, "Oh yeah, sure, we gotta have a stock knife now." Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should just take a break. I'm such a oh
yeah. Why don't you come over?
Just stop reading the comments. I'm like, well, I stopped reading the comments, and then you read the comments like Doug never answers the comments.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't win, but sometimes when you just attack like nonstop, it's like, why bother?
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, you just got to come over and we'll work on a big pumpkin.
Well, you know what? I think I will come over in a week or two.
Yeah,
because I believe they dropped the COVID testing as of this weekend coming.
Wow.
But I'm sending my wife away to Montreal for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I was going to call you up and say, hey, this weekend I'm going to pop over for a few hours.
Yeah.
But then I have Willow for the weekend.
Oh,
because Mama's gone. So maybe the next weekend.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I should be here, I think. Yeah, I will be here. So we've left everybody out, but you guys can come too. Everyone can come. It's a small workshop, but we could probably fit at least 1,000 of you in here. So
you know what? Maybe we should just make a video.
How about that? We'll bring them along.
We'll do that and we'll just show up. Yeah.
All right, we'll do it.
Cool. Is that the end of the mailbag?
That is. What you've been listening to, what you've been reading, what you've been up to, what you're looking at, learning about.
Well, last week I went on a little tangent on the cubic mini stove. And I don't know why. Just because I love that minimalism. Well, this week's is not much farther off, and you may have sensed the tone during this podcast of my relationship with the internet for the last few months. And I've deleted the apps off my phone totally so that I don't have to I don't look at YouTube, I don't look at Instagram or nothing on my phone anymore. I wait, I sit down, I purposely open up my iPad at home, sit down, go through it, because there's not a lot of enjoyment left on the social media for me. It's always work or insults. So I said enough. But that said, I was researching flip phones. I was gonna go back and just get a flip phone. And then I came across this thing, and from there I watched again dozens of videos on. It's called the Light phone.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know about this?
Oh yeah, I've looked at it.
It's basically a minimalist phone. The screen is similar to like my Kobo reader, my e-reader.
Yep.
The screen, and basically it's a phone. It does have podcasts now, so you can listen to podcasts, navigation, but no apps for any social media or internet. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I tried it too with just the flip phone. I actually reactivated my first ever phone, flip phone.
Did you?
Yeah, it lasted for about 2 weeks. And what I found was I ended up spending more time trying to text message people with that keyboard where you have to, the ABC keyboard, you have to, hit the number keys multiple times to get the letter you want. I ended up spending about 8.5 hours on my phone anyway, just trying to text people, hey, I will be at Trader Joe's at 8 p.m. It's like an hour later.
Well, anybody who knows me knows that if I text you twice, if you text me a third time, the phone's going to be ringing on your end.
Yeah.
I talk. I don't text. I'm
Right.
not having multiple. If I text, it's usually you get a K, right.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with
but
you. I
anyway,
don't like texting.
that light phone is it's really cool, and I'm tempted to buy it. But what I realized immediately was that it's not the time to do that, because I'm still taking a picture of my beard every day until
Oh, right.
January
To
1st,
the end of the year.
and it's all on my phone. So I thought I better I'll continue with that. But yeah, I think I might give it a go.
I would just for the podcast too. I'd love to keep everyone abreast of that. And personally, I would love to know if that works out for you.
Yeah. Well, like I said, basically my phone now is just a phone.
Yeah.
I took off all the social medias, but not because, like, a lot of people are totally addicted, and I'm not one to sit down in the dentist's office and pull my phone out. Like, I'll talk to people or I'll read a magazine even. I never did, like, same thing, I wouldn't answer a text or a phone call if we're talking. Like, a lot of people are just so addicted to their phones, and they can't walk from A to B without checking something. But
hold on 1 second. I have to
yeah, okay.
Just kidding.
Mark this moment. Take a picture.
Just kidding.
So.
Yeah, you're right. No, a friend of mine said that he tried to get away from his phone for 2 weeks when he was in Florida on vacation, and he only checked for at mealtime, so 3 times a day, and he could not believe how much of the time people around him were on their phones. He didn't realize it before because he was on his phone, but people are just constantly staring at their phones.
Well, at work quite often I'll put my phone on my desk and then just check it at coffee break or lunchtime. So
somebody asked for a Comanche update, and maybe I'm missing some emails because I think one of them said that at the very end. So that leads me to believe that there are more emails. Oh, there are. I'm seeing them now. Wait, no, there aren't. Tom, Winnipeg. We're good. We did it. But anyway, so as far as the Jeep update goes on my end, there's been many phone calls to the Jeep dealership this week trying to figure out if I can tow with the truck. And what that looks like is, calling people and them going, why did you call me? The 87 Jeep? What do you think we do? You keep track of everything, So eventually I got this really nice guy over at the headquarters of Jeep who sat with me on the phone for 15 minutes, looking up, just Googling, like trying to find websites that have the information. And then it led to nothing, couldn't find anything. And he called me back 15 minutes later and said, Mr. Lacasse? I said, yeah. He said, hey, so I did find the records of your vehicle's options, and I'm going to send that to you now. It's difficult to read, so I'm going to transcribe it for you in the form of an email. I'm like, this can't be real. So he sent me a list of all of the, additional specs, and it was so confusing. It was definitely a woman, and I'm sorry to say this. I think women are smarter than men, but it is definitely a woman who optioned this car out because it has and I mean that because it doesn't make any sense, like the towing options. It has the upgraded trans cooler for the automatic for towing, but then it doesn't have the upgraded axle. It has the base model axle and the base model tow hitch. So it's rigged for towing the max towing capacity as far as the mechanical stuff, aside from the rear axle. It's just not up for it. So it's like, why did they do that? But I don't know. So sorry.
You can pop a new axle in there pretty quick.
Can you? I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, in fact, you probably go to the junkyard and pick one up.
Maybe that's what I'll do. So, but I mean, that's basically it. As far as what I've been looking at and learning about lately. It's still the stupid truck is sucked up every YouTube search. You probably could see, Doug, if you went on the YouTube history, whenever I'm logged into our channel, I'm just looking at websites and YouTube videos about trucks and lifts and the way people modify. And I will say this, the lift has grown on me a little bit.
Oh, as it should.
A little bit. I still wouldn't do it.
You don't have to go crazy, just a little bit. Yeah,
I do appreciate it. And only when you get the wide tires that are kind of offset. They're like from the vehicle.
You know what? Just get yourself 8 hockey pucks. 2 under each one. That's
Canadian.
A 3-inch lift.
Why don't you get a couple hockey pucks? Hey, put them up there.
Oh, but people used to do that with the pucks.
Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, they are solid rubber. So, what do? You shove them up in the leaf springs or what?
I don't have. I have
no idea.
I just know they do.
Oh man. But I have decided, I don't know if I've said this before, but the Jeep nerds, like 2 Jeep nerds in the world listening to this podcast will appreciate this. I found out that the color for the truck is kind of a rare color, the red with the black, bucket seats. So my dreams of painting it a different color have been dashed. And I'm told that to preserve the value of the truck, I have to paint it Jeep Colorado red. And so I've kind of gotten sad looking at all the cool like beige and the people that paint the Comanches the new Jeep colors and all this fun stuff. So it's just gonna end up being red again, so which is fine.
Well, I do appreciate all that you're going through with this Cherokee, because it makes me question my motives in the future, that maybe I shouldn't go down the road that I was planning on with my 1981 Wrangler.
Yeah, because
I would end up, I don't have the patience. I would just rubber guard the whole truck. just bed lighters spray the whole thing.
Just not even paint it. Why not? Yeah. Well, it's like, it's so, it gets to a point of like, you start tallying up all the money and time you've put into it. And you, like I said before, you could have purchased a really solid low miles, 2001 or 2005 truck that's really going to last you, like some old Tacoma or something. I don't know, but here we are.
Yep.
Nope. So
hipsters got a hip. Well, that concludes episode number 14.
That's right.
That's it.
Thank you guys.
So thanks for hanging out with us again this week. And again, big thanks to anyone who bought us a coffee this week. Always appreciated. And a few picked up some merch.
Oh yeah,
a couple t-shirts went out the door. So thank you very much for that. And we'll
so if you see
next week
that, and if you see any folks with our t-shirts on, Tom, thank you for us.
Take a picture.
Yeah,
send us a picture.
Yeah. coffeeandcarvingshow@gmail.com.
All right, thanks guys. See you next week.
Bye-bye.